Respect for people in Hollywood and people in the entertainment industry is at an all-time low because every time they open their mouth, every time they decide to speak out about something, they show just how out of touch they are with reality. Normal people do not share values with people in Hollywood. That is extraordinarily clear, and especially when it comes time for award season. Whatever award show we're talking about, whether it's the Oscars, whether it's the Grammys, each and every time this happens, when you get all these Hollywood elites in the same room together and they start to feel more comfortable about what they're speaking about, they prove to everybody that they don't give a shit about you. All they care about is each other, and they are completely out of touch. And when the hosts for this year's Oscars were announced, it was no surprise that people were skeptical. And as a result, we've seen ratings for these award shows absolutely plummet and tank to all-time record lows. Embarrassing for the Oscars, for the Grammys, for all this stuff. And now the Oscars is trying to right the ship. But when they announced who the hosts were going to be, I think a lot of people were very skeptical. Amy Schumer, Regina Hall, and Wanda Sykes, some of whom consider themselves comedians, all of whom consider themselves activists, far-left activists who will stop at nothing to preach their message. Somehow I don't think that's what's going to get the Oscars back on the right foot. But they are trying to do some damage control already prior to the Oscars. Oscars co-host Wanda Sykes promises the show won't be mean-spirited. Goals to make the night celebratory, Regina Hall says. In a year of controversy and self-described untypical Oscars, co-host Wanda Sykes on Thursday promised there'd be some jabs in Sunday's ceremony, but no one will get hurt. We're trying to stay aligned with the themes. We aren't going to trash anyone. Satire, but not mean-spirited. Regina, we've got to get her to hold back sometimes. She goes for the jugular, the Upshaw star said of co-host and Girls Trip star Regina Hall. So they're trying to lighten the tone already in this interview, try to tell people, listen, yeah, it's going to be fun, of course. The goal is to be entertaining, blah, blah, blah. But we know that that will not be the reality. The reality will be, just like someone like Ricky Gervais has said over and over again, Ricky Gervais thinks people are sick of virtue signaling celebrities who have everything lecturing them. And that's exactly the case. And he even said it when he was at the Golden Globes that time. Hollywood is in no position to lecture anyone about anything. You know nothing about the real world. Yet guess what? Amy Schumer has already told us that not only will celebrities likely be lecturing people, but of course, they're definitely going to be talking about what's going on in the real world. Look at this. Oscars co-host Amy Schumer just wants one guest to make a cameo. Comedian and Academy Awards co-host Amy Schumer said Monday there's one guest she'd like to make an appearance, virtual or otherwise, at Sunday's event. Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky. Schumer, who's hosting the annual award show with fellow comedian Wanda Sykes and actress Regina Hall, joined actress Drew Barrymore on her talk show and said she'd actually spoken to producers, pitching the idea of having Zelensky appear via satellite or in a pre-recorded segment. Now, maybe it's just me, but somehow I don't think that at a Hollywood awards ceremony full of people, again, who have no idea about what's going on in the real world, no idea, no basis to lecture anyone about anything. Somehow I don't think that it should get overtly political, especially about a war that's going on halfway across the world. And this is the same thing that Trevor Noah said. Trevor Noah said it's going to get political. We're going to talk about Ukraine. And shocker, after Amy Schumer came out and said this, they actually asked the producers. They tried to sidestep a little bit because they're trying to get PR, because they're trying to trick people into thinking that this year's Oscars will be different, that this year's Oscars won't be preachy. They said this: with Russia's invasion of Ukraine certain to come up from presenters and winners, Packer sidestepped Schumer's previous suggestion that the Eastern European nation's president should be given the spotlight during Sunday's show. The show is still in process. That's not something we would say one way or another, the powerhouse producer said in a much more serious tone than he adopted for most of the press conference. Stay tuned. And then Wanda Sykes says, isn't he busy right now about Zelensky? In regards to how NATO-opposed invasion by Putin's forces will be handled on the telecast, you're asking Wanda Sykes this question. You're asking freaking Wanda Sykes and Regina King, how are you guys going to handle discussing the geopolitical tensions between Russia and the Ukraine? That's not what this should be about, and that is why Ricky Gervais is 1000% correct. Hollywood is in no position to lecture anyone about anything, especially something like this. People are sick and tired of it. Oscars, I don't think this is going to be the golden goose that you think it is. I don't think going from having no host back to having at least one host, now 3 female hosts, all of them very much political activists. I don't think this is going to be a way to help you. Just a guess. Just a guess that I'm throwing out there. What do you guys think about what Amy Schumer says about what they're trying to pull off? You know, trying to act like they're just trying to get back to having fun, guys, when we know damn well it's going to be all about activism. Let me know in the comments below. Smash a like button, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell for notifications, share this video out there, and I'll talk to you later. Thanks for watching, everyone, and a huge shout out to my patrons. I appreciate you guys so much. Want to follow me on Twitter or Instagram? Check out the description below. You'll find links to my P.O. box and my Patreon as well. And I'll talk to you guys later.